Hey, what's up guys? This is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and for this review, we are looking at the Marvel Legends Maximum Series Spider-Man. And, well, I think I'm going to be disappointing everyone watching this video for different reasons. I think some people want me to just come out here and just hate on this figure completely, and other people want me to actually fall in love with it to my surprise, and it's actually the best thing ever, and neither of those is going to happen. The second one's not happening because it's not. It's not the best figure ever, and the first one's not going to happen because that's not what I do. I'm going to review this thing as fairly as I can, which is how I do all of my reviews. I'm going to give them all the credit they deserve for anything they did well. But that means they're also going to get the credit for all the things they did wrong, or terribly. And there's a lot of those things for this figure, and unfortunately for them, they decided to sell a Marvel Legends figure for $50. So, the magnifying glass got a whole lot bigger. It doesn't really work that way, magnifying glasses. Do they get more strong as they get bigger? I don't think so. I think it's the curvature. Anyway, that's what we're going to do. We're going to review this thing straight up like any other figure. It'll be a longer review because there's more to talk about. This is kind of a big deal in the industry, but it's going to be a standard review. So if you were just hoping for hate, sorry, not going to get it. There will be bad things though. so there's lots. So get ready for that. Let's go ahead and get him off the stand and take a closer look. Alright guys, before we start with the figure, I do want to show you my package. It is a nice package for the most part. This on the side looks okay. That's the figure, you know, kind of photoshopped and probably completely render, I'm guessing. The front is nice, I think, with this figure front and center. Nice big window, shows all of the $25 worth of accessories. That's good. I don't mind the packaging at all for the Maximum series. I think it's pretty nice on the side. That's all right. On the back, though, you do get what it looks like another front, and it's fine, except for the fact that it's clearly a render, but also they lied about the toe hole. There's no toe hole there, and that's very frustrating for me because, and also there's not a whole lot of defective paint spots on here, so, you know, that's a little bit irritating, but it's a nice packaging regardless. I'm being a little bit funny here, but not bad. I think a window on the top would have been nice to let some light in there for people who do want to display in the box, but it's still pretty good. Alright, I don't do that. I don't care about the packaging personally at all. That's just for you guys. Alright, so here he is. Here he is, the absolute best Marvel Legends figure to date, based solely on price point. It has to be the best Marvel Legends figure to date, ever, because of the price point. So, let's get into it. This guy stands, we'll call it 6 3/8. That's going to make him roughly a little bit shy of 16.5 centimeters. And here he is up against freaking Darwin. Every time I go to grab him, he's got some kind of different thing going on, and I don't understand it, because I don't touch him outside of reviews. They're almost the same. Spider-Man has, like, just the tiniest bit over him, just the tiniest little bit. Alright, I will say, if for some strange reason you guys, after this review, want to buy one of these and you haven't yet, I'll put a link in the description below for Big Bad Toy Store. They're still on pre-order. Oh man, all the people that stocked up on them and bragged about selling out and how they're going to resell them and make $1 million. You might make 5, but then if you count fees and things, probably not. So yeah, it is still available for pre-order, and I'm done gloating about that because I've already made that point 1 million times over to 1 million different people. So let's talk about the aesthetics on this guy. Actually, you know what? Let's take our time. Let's just have a moment to just talk about it in general. Is it the best Spider-Man that Hasbro has released? Overall, yes. I think clearly that's the case. So that's a good point. I'm going to be as objective as I can. It is, as far as I can tell, overall the best Spider-Man. Is it the best at everything? It might be. We'll see, and that's going to be kind of hard to determine for sure. But let's even just say it is the best at everything compared to previous Hasbro releases. What does that actually mean for us? Other than it's better than the ones we bought before? Not much. Because it's not... it's twice as much money. Or more, depending on what figure you're comparing it against. So it has to, like, blow the doors off of the competition. So let's see. Let's see if it does that. Maybe it does. Maybe it does in some ways, and maybe it doesn't. So now let's get into the aesthetic. First thing I have to note is the color scheme. The red's kind of orange. It's a little bit orange. Here's another Spider-Man that's touted as one of the better ones. His red is much nicer. I don't know if you're going to be able to tell on camera. I think you can. I can tell on my viewfinder. This red is much, much nicer. The blue is fine. Navy blue is good. I don't mind that combo. They bragged about the amount of web lines on this guy. Yeah, I mean, look at that. Probably double the web lines. It's a lot of web lines, guys. Like, if you're into web lines, this guy has it. That's fine. They're not painted any better than a normal Marvel Legends figure. So let's talk about that first, as far as the aesthetic goes. Let's start with the face, because the face is a big deal. Some people are saying it's not supposed to be McFarlane. It's just supposed to be 90s Spider-Man. Other people are saying it is supposed to be McFarlane. Well, it isn't officially, so I can't hold that against them too much, but it is definitely not the McFarlane eyes, as I mentioned in previous live streams and things. It's definitely not. It's close, though, and the eyes are done pretty well, other than they're too far apart, and the web lines don't work properly because there's a big oval between his eyes rather than a circle. And yeah, there's a couple panels where it looks like that, but typically it should be closer to a circle shape, and the eyes are totally the wrong shape for McFarlane. All right, so there's that. Some people have shown photos of messed up tops of heads. Mine doesn't have the same problem that other people had. There's no huge gap. Like, the things line up mostly, but there is a big space between these webs where you can see there's two different sets of tampo. And then this one's smeared, this line right in the middle. That's smeared, so it's really thick. And then the whole thing is just twisted. If you start at the center line right there and then go up, it twists off to the side. And his web pattern is just really screwed up on his head. It's not even close to right. This guy's web pattern, though less intricate, much nicer paint. In fact, if there is a seam between two different tampography stamps, whatever you want to call that, I don't know how to phrase that properly. I can't find it. So yeah, he has fewer web lines, but he's still covered in web lines, and he's painted better by a lot. So the application on these super duper high quantity web lines, not great. I bought two of these guys to try to get the best one for the review, and the other one I have, his whole hand is just jacked up. It's all smeared. But yeah, there's issues all the way around for the web lines. So, you know, for a normal Marvel Legends figure, that might be fine. But for $50, it should be pretty damn perfect, and it's not even close. I mean, it's not terrible, don't get me wrong. If you're not reviewing it, you might not notice some of them, the head ones probably, but the web lines are definitely not anything special. They're just more. There are more of them. So, there's that. All right, as far as the transitions from red to blue, they're pretty clean. They're pretty good overall. I haven't noticed any major issues, so that's good. I'll give them that credit. Let's talk about the spider while we're here. Looks pretty good when it's like that, and they decided to make it just big enough to go over onto the butterfly joint, which means it makes that noise every time you do it. It's weird. That's the most ridiculous looking thing I've ever seen, I have to say, just because it's like comically goofy. And I don't mean comic as in like comic books. That's the goofiest looking thing. You couldn't just shrink it 5 or 10% so that it fit between? Or not sculpted his back so goofy so that you couldn't do it? It looks like a tick. It looks like a freaking tick. I think they have antennae, because the tick does, the blue guy, so I'm assuming those would, like, it's just goofy looking. That's ridiculous. And you might be sitting there thinking, wow, you're getting really nitpicky on this. Yep. 1, it's a review, so you can't really pick nits. And 2, it's a $50 Marvel Legends figure. This thing should be impressive in every way. And so far, the only thing impressive is the amount of lines in his webbing. All right, the front spider is pretty good. I will give him that. Down here, the web lines, as soon as you bend them, they break because they didn't give him a waist twist. They gave him no waist articulation other than this ab crunch, which is chipping right here already. But, yeah, it breaks the web pattern. So there's that. All right, next thing to talk about is the number of reds on this figure. It's about 3. I haven't actually tested, but there's at least 3. There's a different one here, a different one here. The neck is different. The legs are different. Like, different chunks of plastic are definitely different reds between the painted parts. Like, this is definitely different. It's different depending on where you're looking. Of course, like, there's lots of different parts that are painted or molded or whatever, and they don't match. So, standard Marvel Legends, almost said McFarlane, standard Marvel Legends Spider-Man so far. Now let's talk about the sculpt. I have to say the sculpt is by far the best Spider-Man they have done. Without a doubt. It is the best looking Hasbro Spider-Man that we have seen. But it does still suffer from some of the things that Hasbro likes to do. The first of which would be the hips. When you use the drop down and get them all the way up there, they can't come together. The legs can't come together. That's the way he stands when you put his hips all the way up. Do you see the gap between his legs? Do you see the hips sticking out over here again? I was expecting on the Maximum Spider-Man to not have that problem. So it's really ridiculous, honestly, at this price point. We'll get to the articulation. It's a brand new sculpt. They bragged about it being a brand new sculpt. It's like, oh, good for you. Like, brand new sculpts are not a special thing for action figures. They happen all the time, without doubling the price. So I don't really care that it's a brand new sculpt, other than it is good. But look at this. Look at that. You can't get his legs closer together, and they stick out too far. That's crazy to me. The other thing would be, like, they still have weird sculpt for the torso. It's not bad. This one's definitely much better. But you still don't have... It's like one giant shape that just has muscles carved into it, rather than actually having muscle separation. So it takes away a little bit from the look. But generally speaking, they do have a little bit of that extra V right there for the lats. And that is a nice look. It helps. His arms are a little bit too long. Not a lot, but a little bit, for sure. So there's that. His shoulders and neck area could be better. If you look at the clavicle, for instance, where is his clavicle? He doesn't have one. This whole area right here looks like the first release. I think it was the very first Spider-Man Hasbro or Toy Biz released, where there's really no shape to anything up here. He's missing his clavicle. He's missing his traps. It's just weird. The back sculpt is super weird to account for the butterfly joint, which they could definitely do better. It's just super weird. I'm not going to do a lot of comparisons to this figure because it's so dated, but there are some things that this guy does way, way better, and the chest and neck shape is definitely one of them. Even with their butterfly joint cutting it up, you can see the shape of his pecs and his clavicle and where his shoulders connect and things. It looks way more, in some ways, don't get me wrong, it definitely has that lanky alien look to it. It's very stylized, but some aspects of this guy, like the pec shape, the rib cage, the fact that there's a dip right here between the pecs and the lats where they tuck in, where the serratus muscles are, this guy doesn't have that. It's all just one shape again. It looks like a better version of every other Spider-Man that Hasbro has released, which is not a very good thing because they're still leagues or miles away. You could say leagues if you're in the water, I guess. Miles away from what it should be. So there's that. His head, I don't think it's too big. I think the area looks a little bit weird because of the way they did the traps. But otherwise, the head is okay. The arms are shaped pretty well. They're better than a lot of Marvel Legends, but they're nothing special. Like, the individual details on the sculpt are nothing. Like, this guy's covered. I know, he's goofy looking. We're not talking about that. I'm talking about the specific details. The wrinkles, the muscles. Like, he's skinny, but you can see the individual details are in there, whereas this guy still looks like a kid's drawing of a comic character. There's very little, it's a very soft sculpt, very little detail. They have the wrinkling going on in a few key places. So it's not some kind of premium sculpt. There's a little bit of wrinkling here and there, but they made sure to put as little effort into this as possible, in that the more details you put on it, the less you can reuse the body, and that's definitely their plan. He has new shaped feet. They are pretty decent feet shape. I think that's probably one of the best foot shapes that we've gotten from Hasbro. Why are they hollow? Why is that a thing on their best figure ever? Why? Okay, so you could say, well, lots of figures have a little divot in there so that they can put the info that they need. Okay, sure. This guy doesn't have that, especially on the toe. He's got a little bit of a dip in there, but why does this guy have a hollow toe? Which is like, you probably might be thinking, well, it's just the bottom of his foot, who cares? Okay. Anybody posing Spider-Man in the air, literally everyone who's going to handle this figure is going to see that foot, unless they just buy it and do this and never look at it again. Why is his toe hollow? And there's more to talk about down there in the articulation section, but his toes are hollow. It's ridiculous. So aesthetically speaking, did we cover everything? The eyes are not McFarlane. That's fine. They're well done. Sculpt is generally better. It's like, it's a brand new sculpt. So what? So is this. So is this guy. I brought this guy out, by the way, because he dethroned the last super fancy advanced Spider-Man as being anything good at all. We'll talk about him later. But yeah, it looks good. It is the best looking Marvel Legends Spider-Man. I think by a good margin. It's nowhere near where it should be, and that is especially true given the $50 price point. Because, and you can talk about licensing, but licensing only counts for so much. This guy costs $55, and he is riddled with detail and good sculpt work and paint work and all kinds of stuff. Or any other figure, basically, at the $50 price point. that makes this look silly. So aesthetically speaking, I'm going to do 2 ratings. Just in a general Marvel Legends rating, this guy would be like an 8.5 probably, but at $50, this is a slightly better Marvel Legends figure. So for $50, I'll be generous and say 6 out of 10. For $50, this is nowhere near. It's also very shiny. I forgot to mention that. It's not a matte finish at all. They couldn't do a matte finish. This guy looks better. Honestly, he's got different shades, but still, this guy's less shiny than this one. So yeah, I'm not going to change my rating. That's what it is. All right, as far as accessories go, because they really are what we're paying for here, we have 2 different masked heads, the standard normal head, and then we have the one with the big googly eye. I think they couldn't have put less effort into this. The one eye is barely squinted and the one eye is really big. Mine has a short and the chin has a big dip in it. Both of mine have that, one to a lesser degree. This is the worst one, unfortunately, but I'm never going to use this head because I think it looks pretty goofy. I don't like the way they did it. So there's that. Then you get the unmasked head, which is the stuff of nightmares. It is worse than the Ant-Man head. The Ant-Man head was bigger, so it looked weirder, but this one is like weird in every way. It's so weird. Are his eyes golden? What is this is okay, so that head's terrible, just ridiculous. It's really, really bad. Now for hands, you get the 2 fist hands, you get the thwip hands, you get the wall crawling hands. Those are all things you should have normally for a Spider-Man. In this instance, we do get some gripping hands in addition, so that's nice. Then you get some thwip hands with some web shooting out, which I have to say, I actually like this. I think this is a good idea. Not everybody on their shelf has room to have full-size webs and things, and this is a good way to have him using his ability on your shelf. I'll talk about the webbing more in a minute, but you do get some thwip hands. And then you get these hands, which I want to talk about for a minute, because Hasbro, I don't know if they are considering that people are going to be buying these things and talking about them afterwards. This is not a new POA right here. This is them adding a point of articulation simply so that they can swap out forearms for other characters. And they put these in there to make you think like, oh, we're actually doing it for your benefit. Well, first of all, these silver things are just way too big, and it looks really goofy when you put them on. But also, they don't have articulation in the wrists. It's just one solid chunk of plastic, so they're so cheap that even on their premium figure with these new cop-out accessories, it's not actually a hand and a wrist. It's just a swap-out thing, which sucks. So you also get the spider sense, which I think is really nicely done. That's pretty good. I don't know how they could do much better with that. I like it. I've heard some people say the color's wrong. I don't know, honestly. I don't know what color his spider sense is supposed to be, if it's like a set color, but it looks nice. All right, and now we have the web effects. So we'll start with these 2 web effects, which I honestly, and I'm not trying to be funny in any way, I don't understand what we're supposed to do with these. I like that they have like the loose, droopy webbing, like the McFarlane style webbing. I like that, but I don't understand what they're not bendy. If they were bendy, then maybe, but there's no place to put it to his hand. There's no place to do anything with it. I don't get it. This one has like an end piece to it, a little bit, and then the other one doesn't. It just has 2 little nubbins. So I honestly don't understand what these loose webs are for. Okay, then you get this one web, which is, all right, that's fine. He's shooting a web net thing, I guess, and that's okay, but you have to use a display stand to hold it up, so that kind of sucks. It's a fine accessory, I guess, and then you get this one, which is like a web ball, sperm. It looks fine, I guess, for what it is. Also need to use a stand to hold it up because it doesn't connect to him in any way. And then you get this one, which is the shield, which is, I think, probably the coolest of the bunch. And it actually has like a wash of gray paint on there, and that helps it look a little bit okay. And it has the classic shield clip on the back, which I know some of you just love. It's a fine accessory. I think all of the webbing shouldn't be transparent, milky, silvery, weird white color. I know a lot of people have made a lot of comparisons about the webbing. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to say it should be white. White with a gray wash. And that would look way better. Way better, if you ask me. So the shield is an alright accessory. The 2 shots, I guess, are fine. The big swinging ones are worthless. And the little stand is there just to hold him up. So his accessories, like, they're okay. Honestly, you could throw away at least half of them, and it wouldn't really detract from the figure's usability. it's not $25 worth. So for normal Marvel Legends, obviously it's a ton of accessories, so 9 out of 10 because the webbing still looks like crap and the arms suck and the head sucks. But it's a lot, so fine. But for a $50 Marvel Legends, 7. I'll be generous and say 7. For $50, it's still a lot in quantity. But like this one, for instance, he came with 6 hands and 2 heads. So we're not actually getting that much extra. So we'll just set that aside. All right, and now it's time. Wow, this is a long review. All right, now it's time for the articulation, which, by the way, they bragged in their thing about a brand new system of articulation. Brand new system, guys. New system. That means all new articulation. Unheard of, at least for Marvel Legends. Brand new system. And I'm really happy to tell you that this guy has the exact same articulation up until the neck, except for the cuts, which I'm personally not going to count as an articulation point. Because it's real, I mean, like, technically it is, but really it's not. It's just for them. And we don't need that because the wrist's already turned. So you can count that, but we've seen wrist swivels before, so that's not exactly new. And then the only other difference this guy has is he has a neck joint right in here, which I'm pretty sure the very first Marvel Legends Spider-Man also had, like the very first one. So, no, it's not a brand new system of articulation. It is all the existing articulation we've already seen. The only real difference is they've put it all on one figure, which is, like I said, one extra POA if you want to count these two, because we've seen toe joints and everything else already, nothing new. And then the real difference is the hips have a worse drop down. It has better range. I'm being semi-funny, I'm teasing. It does have better range. I want to be fair. The hips do have better range, but we're going to see how much better. Let's start with the head, though. Because Hasbro doesn't want to learn new tricks, we still have the hinge in there. So he can look up right there, and he can look down. Can he look down? Yeah, he can look down if you force it. So you get that hinge, that classic antiquated Hasbro hinge, and you can rotate on the top. You get no lean, really. I mean, like, it wiggles, but no lean at that top joint at all. So you only get the lean down here at this ball peg, which is just a ball peg in the neck. Thank God they didn't do this again. Goodness gracious. The fact that that ever happened is still mind-boggling. But, so you get the ball peg down here in the neck. So let's see how much it can lean. Oh. Come on. They still can't do ball pegs. It's amazing. This is a maximum ball peg, guys. It has the best range out of any. I'll just use this as an example because I happen to have it here, and he's got a ball peg in his neck. Look how much his head can move around. Oh, that's right. Spider-Man can't do it. This guy only has a ball peg at the top, mind you. This guy has a hinge. It's amazing to me. Absolutely amazing that they put a ball peg in here and still screwed it up and put the old joint in there. So he actually has quite limited neck articulation. I've seen so many posts of people popping this off and trimming it up to make it work better, but it doesn't have very good range at all. That's just crazy. All right, butterfly joint. Let's see. Is this a good butterfly joint? It's just a standard Marvel Legends butterfly joint. So yeah, like you can bring his arm around his chest reasonably. That's fine, and it goes back. That's fine. It's still the most hideous back sculpt ever, even bringing the arm all the way back. Why is it so lumpy? Why is it shaped like an M? That's a weird thing. But yeah, the butterfly joint, oh, it actually looks pretty weird on the front when you use the butterfly joint. He grows a second pec. Now, to be fair, butterfly joints are hard to make, but that's a weird one. It's not very smooth at all. That's hardly any better than this one. Like this one definitely has its date. Very visible, but it's not that much worse, frankly. Okay. So, yeah, the butterfly joint's functional for sure. It's pretty goofy looking. And that's surprising because he's still considerably flat front to back. He still hardly looks like a superhero. So, unfortunate. Let's see. The shoulders, I'm sure the shoulders will work just fine. If they screwed up a shoulder, that would be something. So, yeah, a little bit better than horizontal for the shoulder. That's fine. No problem there. The way they've done that isn't the best with the red, but it's okay. All right. Bicep swivel is fine, except the way they sculpted the shoulder, you get this. you get those big shelves for the bicep and tricep, which for normal Marvel Legends it's ugly, but it makes sense because they're cheap, crappy, garbagey figures. This is an expensive, crappy, garbagey figure. So let's see. It's not. I'm making some jokes. Stick around to the end. I'll give you my final thoughts. Double jointed elbow works fine. It's an okay elbow, no problems there. And then you do get your extra. There we go. Then you do get your extra swivel right there. And your wrist swivel and hinge, double swivels. You can swivel all you want. All right, now, here we go for the torso. It does lean back a little bit farther, maybe, than normal, I guess. Still not sculpted great, but for a Marvel Legends figure, I wouldn't expect it to not look like that. And then leaning forward, still minimal range. Sculpting is still very much like your standard Marvel Legends. Leaning to the side, that's okay. It's a fine diaphragm joint. You get punch action, Spider-Man. I can't twist that. That's actually... It feels like he's got an elastic band in there. I can't rotate it. That's going to snap if I keep going. Ooh. Maybe it won't snap. It doesn't want to... I'm scared that will break, though. That doesn't want to work at all. Look at that. Oh, man. That is not premium. All right, so yeah, that's a fine diaphragm joint. If that was the only joint on there, it wouldn't be enough for Spider-Man, but luckily they gave us this. Honestly, for them doing this, it doesn't even work as well as a lot of the other ones have worked. So it doesn't lean back super far. It's okay. Like, it doesn't lean back extra far. That's pretty standard. And then leaning forward, again, it doesn't lean forward super far either. Now, you're saying get to the hips. I will, and I know hips are part of that. But so far, the torso, it's just average. It's just fine, and there's no waist joint. There's no waist joint, so he can't turn at the waist. He can only lean forward and helicopter around. He can't lean this way. That's it. That's all he can do. That's all he can do. He can't do this. Which is like a pretty basic human function of mobility. Leaning to the side a little bit. Like, you try it right now. If you're seated, just turn and lean. You can do it. You're more articulated than Spider-Man. Look at you. Superheroes, all of you. Every single one of you can do more than this Spider-Man toy can do. That's crazy. All right, for the hips. Like I told you, when they're up, there's a gap. You can't put his legs together. You cannot. It does not work. When you put them down, you can bring them all the way down. And of course, you can kind of get them together, but you don't want that, so that's pointless. But this drop-down is still a drop-down, so it has all the same problems of a normal drop-down. You do get good range out of it, though, obviously, because they made it drop down a little bit farther. So you can bring his legs up. He can definitely bring his legs up higher than the average Spider-Man. You can't do this, I'm sure of it. Well, you know what? He's actually just sitting, kind of. All right, so that's how high his legs can go at the absolute maximum extent of the joint. There's nothing else I can do to get his legs to go up higher. How much better is that? Because we see a lot of people doing this. Oh, he can do that. Oh, well, okay. Let's see if how much impressive is that? How much impressive? That's good English right there. All right, so this guy, his legs are up, and he's leaning. It's not significantly different. It is different. Don't get me wrong. It's different. I'm trying to get him at the right angle to be fair. Like I said, this guy is better. He is the best Spider-Man probably at everything except for the web lines being well placed. He is better. Let me get their arms in a similar so that you can have a better idea. I'm going in on this as detailed as I can so that you guys can see as much as I can show you. There you go. It's better for sure. Not that much better. Just for giggles, because his torso doesn't work for crap. Just for giggles. Because this figure's like 1,000 years old. Does it have the date? 2004. There you go. Yeah, he doesn't pose very well by today's standards. He's missing range. So yeah, okay. So he can do this. He can do the I'm looking at myself in the mirror pose. And it's better, for sure. This guy's legs are out farther. He doesn't crunch as much overall because of the hips. This one's better. It's not like double the price better, if you ask me. Okay, so the hips, they definitely work. Let's try splits. Can we do splits yet on a Spider-Man figure without flipping the hip around? We can't? Are you flipping kidding me? No pun intended. I was not expecting that. I figured the hips were actually going to work. I have not been paying attention to what other people are doing other than just photos. I've seen photos on Instagram. I was honestly expecting the hips to be better on this. That's crazy. It's a Spider-Man figure that can't do the splits? No. This guy. Similar price point. Soft goods, by the way. Matte finish. Pretty nice looking figure. Lots of soft goods. If I was a swearing type, I would say some swear words right now, because why can't Hasbro make the hips work? Why? Why? That's nuts. So in order to get him to do the splits, you have to turn the entire hip around and then rotate it. That's not annoying at all. And also, you're doing that with the drop-down hip. So you're constantly dealing with that. This is nuts. This is not... Like, that's their new system, is a drop-down that is more of a drop-down than previous drop-downs by a slight margin, but also still can't do standard things like bring his legs together or do the splits. That's pretty nuts. And also, the drop-down is just constantly annoying, which is always the case for drop-downs. Let's see. Does the thigh swivel work? Hey, it does. We already knew it would. All right, double-jointed knee. This video is running long, but hey, $50 Marvel Legends figure, brand new system of articulation. We have to talk about it. All right, so the knees bend, good proportioning. That's good. The gap here is a little bit weird. You don't need that much of a gap. They could have made it much nicer looking. They did it to get better range, but I think they could have made that knee look a little better. And yeah, for $50, we can request that they try a little bit harder. All right, so you get a boot swivel, standard boot swivel. That's okay. This one lines up nicely. This one doesn't. I'm curious, for those of you who have this already, do you also have the offset there where you can run into the blue? Like if you run your fingernail across it, you catch the blue, or you catch the red going this way. That's irritating for me for $50. All right, for the ankles, this one is incredibly loose. There's like no retention. Like, it's not floppy, but it's really loose. But it goes all the way. Oh, it's fighting me again. Let's try this one. Okay, it's still fighting, but that's okay. So we can bring the foot all the way back. That's fine. Ballerina toe. That's good. That's the way you want it. Bringing the foot forward, almost no range. Almost no range going forward, but you do get the toe hinge, which leads me back to where we almost started, which is we have a hollow toe. That's just stupid. Why do we have a hollow toe? You gotta be kidding me. On the best Spider-Man? Okay, but fine, they needed to make the toe hollow. They still have a chunk of plastic sticking out from the joint. It's the quintessential flaw of making a toe hinge. Why do you have that plastic sticking out? Don't do that. Don't do that. And then the ankle rocker is pretty steep because no extra effort was put into this. You just have to rotate it here, which makes the leg look goofy. So, the articulation, I think I covered everything. Well, you know what? I wanted to show you one more pose, because this is the pose that killed the last Spider-Man that was supposed to be the best. Not the last one, it's one of them. All right, can he just do... Oh, I forgot this one can't rotate. Oh, man, please don't break. All right. Now this guy has the waist twist and ab crunch. Waist twist, not the best thing without being a ball peg, but he can do a kick. He can do a side kick. Look at that. Where he turns and kicks. He can do that. This guy, nope. He can't do that because he doesn't have a waist twist. He doesn't have a freaking waist twist on a premium Spider-Man. Premium Spider-Man, the best Marvel Legends Spider-Man, double the cost of any other Marvel Legends Spider-Man, not counting the $35 garbage ones that are ridiculous that nobody wants. No waist twist. The legs can't close. The hips are too wide. He can't do the splits. The neck doesn't work. Brand new system of articulation? It's the exact same thing as every other Marvel Legends Spider-Man. I mean, if you put them together, because none of them have every single joint this one has, but a bunch of them have all but one, or two if you count the wrists. So articulation on this guy for a Marvel Legends Spider-Man, it has better range. It does have better range for the hips to kick up and things like that, for sure. For a Marvel Legends Spider-Man, I would say probably an 8 for a standard release, because most of them don't work that well. But for a $50 Marvel Legends Spider-Man, this is going to get a I'm going to just look at this one more time to make sure I'm right. You cannot get his legs together any more than that, and they stick out. 5 out of 10. For the articulation, for $50, they couldn't get him to close his legs. They couldn't get him to do splits. They couldn't put a toe hinge that works. The neck doesn't work. $50? No waist twist? $50? No thank you. Alright, so now, it's time for the final verdict. I guess we're going to go back to where I started. It is, unquestionably, in almost every way, the best Marvel Legends Spider-Man. It has the most accessories, whether you like them or not. At least they're there. It has the most web lines. Bragging about that is just such a funny thing to me. It does have the most web lines. It's a mostly clean paint job. It has the most POA, technically speaking. It does, and it probably poses the best. The only thing it doesn't have better than most of them is the web lines are not clean. And I haven't mentioned, by the way, the sculpt. There's no sculpted web lines. So there's that, but you would think for $50 you get that, but I'm not even going to hold that against them. I'm going to give them that one. For a normal Marvel Legends price point, $25, $26, hell, even $30. This would be, I don't know, 8 or 9. Sure. It still has, like I said, crazy problems that it shouldn't have, but for $30 even, 8 or 9, easy 8 or 9, no problem at all. For $50, here's why I'm going to give the number I'm going to give. Because there's such a thing as an overpriced figure that you still enjoy owning. And there's such a thing as an overpriced figure that's just not good enough to have. This isn't that. This is the first one. It's a fine Spider-Man to add to your collection. I have never said otherwise. I said from the very beginning it's going to be the best Spider-Man. It's probably going to be a fine figure. Sure, and it is. I have no problem having this in my collection. I'm not upset with it. It is the best looking Spider-Man that they've made. But it's $50, so it's way overpriced by a lot, because all of the things that they've advertised this thing being good at, it's not especially good at them. The sculpt is a little bit better. The paints are about the same. The accessories, we have more of them, but they're not very good. The articulation, we have a little bit more of it, and some of it's really good, but other parts don't work at all. So I'm going to give it an overall rating for a $50 price point, 6 out of 10. I can't go higher than a 6 out of 10 at $50. At $50 for a Marvel Legends figure, this is just another Marvel Legends figure that should be, by the way, how every Spider-Man is. Cut out some of the garbage accessories. This is just your standard Marvel Legends Spider-Man, what it should be. And even then, they've screwed it up. It doesn't have a waist twist. There's no argument against that. Nobody on the planet can tell me that it shouldn't have a waist twist without sounding silly. Because it's a Spider-Man figure that can't turn his freaking waist. He can't do the splits without flipping his hips around, which you have to do over an incredible drop down. Nope. It is a good Marvel Legends Spider-Man figure for $25. I think overall by far the best one. $50, not going to cut it. So, there we go, guys. That's what I have to say about this. That lasted way longer, 40 minutes on a single figure. Wow. But that's it. So let me know what you guys think in the comments section below. Please keep it a little bit classy, I guess. Don't get too mean on either side. That would be better. Don't fight with amongst yourselves too much, but I'm done. That was a lot. So, yeah, thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoyed the video, please do give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. And if you haven't subscribed, you should. I have new videos just about every single day and thousands already on the channel. So make sure you come back for all of that. And in the meantime, keep collecting.